Hello, I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Leading Edge. Let me thank you for joining us again today. And let me also request that you continue to give us feedback on how these sessions are helping you. Do also take the time to like, comment, and share this if it's helping you. Today, we shall continue with the second part of our series on the power of leadership communication. Last week, we had discussed part 1, which was on finding your voice. In it, we covered number 1, get to know you. Number 2, acknowledge and accept your uniqueness. Number 3, build your voice around consistency. And number 4, accuracy and logic enhance believability. And finally, we talked about create beauty and elegance in your voice. So today we shall be examining what I've called the 6 building blocks to communicate for change. Okay? Now, let's begin with some interesting insights from communications expert Patrick Donadio in an important book he wrote on communication called Communicating with Impact: Effectively Communicate Ideas and Achieve Greater Results. He shows that almost 80% of your day is spent in some form of communication or the other. He also shows that across all industries, communication skill is ranked as the topmost or second most relevant baseline skill you must have. So it is not about the field. It cuts across various fields. And that when you get better with communication, you will also get better with results. So there's a correlation between communication and results. In fact, a study shows that companies with effective communication had 47% higher returns to shareholders over 5 years, according to Donadio. So what's the point? There is a direct correlation between your leadership communication and your leadership outcome. As I noted previously, communication is an indispensable resource in the leadership enterprise. Whether you are a teacher or a parent, a business owner or a political leader, a business executive or a professional, whatever you are involved in, communication is indispensable. Sometimes your success is tied to your mouth, to your effectiveness in wielding words. All right? So let me here walk you through these 6 building blocks that I consider important in communicating for change, in communicating for results to happen, in moving people to action. Remember, I said the purpose of communication is to move people to action. So I will build this around change, CHANGE, as an acronym. So let's start. So number 1, C, context. Context here refers to the purpose of the communication. Note my words, the purpose of the communication. This is the starting point of every great communication. To drive change through communication, you need to establish the rationale. You need to establish the purpose. Determine your goal. Like they say, have the end in mind. So purpose creates focus and consistency. You should then be asking, is the communication to inform? Is it to direct? Is it to connect? Is it to explore? Is it to engage? This will become the basis for choosing your content, the basis for the key points to emphasize, the basis for the channel you will use. Establishing context or rationale eliminates rambling and infuses sharpness to your message. So the rule is context before content, purpose first, in other words. All right. So number 2, H, headline. The next important building block for a communication that will deliver change is to identify the key message or key messages. What exactly do you intend to communicate? Often we have several things in our minds, right? But for communication to be effective, you must identify exactly what you want to achieve with the discussion, the email, the report, the speech. What is your core message? This is important. This is what in my McKinsey course on communication is called the governing thought. The governing thought. This is the main thesis. Whether you are conducting a meeting, having a conversation, or writing a book, start with determining the headline. What core message do you intend to pass across? Once you identify that core message, you must then do the following. Listen, number one, your presentation has to start with this core message. This is called front loading. Front load this message. Say it up front. Especially in the business setting or business writing, you don't keep people guessing what you want. Often when people write request memos or emails, they typically start with some long, windy background information. This is poor writing, I must tell you. Right. Start with the core message. What exactly is your writing about? That's what you should say. Now, this is because busy executives do not have the time to read up to the third page to see the section on the request or the core message. In my writing workshop, I teach that the structure should be like this. Say what you want to say it, and say what you said. Before I confuse you, let me explain. The structure is to say what your key message is, then provide the supporting arguments and evidences to prove the veracity and justification of the key message, and finally, recap the core message. So, it is a core message first, supporting argument second, and then a recap of the core message. Okay. So, number two, this key message must be articulated in the clearest and compelling manner if you want to drive change. It's always good to couch it in a very succinct and punchy way. A memorable opening helps you establish rapport and increases your chances of success with the communication. The third thing you do with a core message or headline is to determine the most effective channel to deliver it. Is it best as an email, a person-to-person communication, a formal presentation, whatever? In the end, it's important that you focus this key message. Be clear and consistent with it all through the communication. Don't muddle it up with other things that get it lost in a maze. Okay. So, number three, that's A, audience. A third critical building block to successful communication is determining and tailoring the communication to your specific audience. You may have the same message, but the way it's delivered to various stakeholders may differ. The way you deliver it to employees will be different from the way you deliver it to senior executives or the board or regulators. All right? Often communication goes bad when you don't read your audience well. So first, read your audience well. Effective communication can only happen when you create resonance with your target audience. Apart from this, it all falls apart. So customize your message and style to the unique circumstance of your audience, whether it's an individual or a group, so that you can speak directly to them where they are. So be relatable and seek to establish connection. Use the storytelling motif, including personal stories, real life examples, if that's okay, to create that sort of connection. A good example can sometimes be better than a long explanation. This creates stickiness and in turn increases the impact of the communication. It's also advisable, especially in these days of deep attention deficit, to capture the interest and attention of your audience early enough. Okay? This is part of the reason why you need to front load your message, as I said earlier. So there are so many competing messages. So strike hard very early in your communication. Number 4, N is nexus. Now here, I want to ask that you structure your arguments and be compelling while you do that. As I noted earlier, after establishing your key message, you need to build a compelling supporting argument. A strong message should be undergirded by a strong logical argument. Now, listen to this. Charisma without content only reveals a disappointing emptiness. There is therefore a need for a properly structured argument if you must make a change. The template used by great speakers and most of the world's big organizations is called the pyramid principle. It starts with a headline or core message, then the key statements or points, and then finally the foundational facts at the base. So from a building or preparation point of view, you start from the base, the foundational facts. So you gather all the foundational facts and then build it up onto the core message, right? However, when communicating this presentation you are prepared, you start from the top. That's, you start from the headline and then move down the pyramid until you get to the foundational facts. So it's a reverse, right? So you need to build your arguments well. Next, you need to know the methods and tools that can help you enhance the effect of your communication in the most compelling manner. The most effective communicators employ focused and compelling multisensory messaging, right? This comes with a powerful combination of visual, verbal, literal, and visceral content, right? As a result of shorter attention span, it's proper to not only prioritize your core message, but to also break your entire communication into sharp and easily digestible pieces. So use visuals where you can. A picture is worth 1,000 words, as they say. Audio visuals can enhance your message better than just words. So seek to integrate your visual and verbal content for maximum effect. Right. So number 5, G, gauge. Communication is a two-way street. Don't just rattle on. Read your audience well, remember, to establish progress or otherwise. Use questions and feedback loops to gauge understanding and acceptance or otherwise. Respect your audience by preemptively answering pertinent questions and telling your specific story. Don't be generic. Don't be superficial or employ cliches, jargons, and empty buzzwords. Some may require more clarity. Learn to listen and provide more information. I tell this story in my book, Everyday Leadership. An Italian opera group had a performance in a big theater. At the end of the performance, there were screams of "again, again." So bored by the screams, the opera repeated their performance again. And again came the shouts, "again, again." So this time they were so alerted by the cheer of the audience. They did it a third time. Still the screams for a repeat continued. So the opera leader appealed to the audience to let them stop at that point. Then someone in the crowd spoke up loud and clear. "You need to sing it again until you get it right." All the while, the audience was not applauding an excellent performance. The audience was demanding it. The opera group had misread the crowd. They didn't gauge their audience well. When there is a misalignment between what the people want or are saying and what the leader thinks the people want, communication fails woefully. And so does leadership. So, the final one, engage. A winning communication must elicit response, elicit action. Remember that the purpose of communication is to move people to action. So in this building block, you must learn to call for action, to build a feedback loop. This goes back to the building block 1, the context. You must then establish that the purpose of the communication has been met. This is to focus on the result. What's the outcome of the entire communication? You need to know. You need to engage, therefore, for outcome. In a sale, you need to elicit buyer decision. In a project meeting, you need to highlight the agreed actions, timelines, and responsible persons. In a negotiation, you need to establish what the other party's position is. Here, you recap the key points powerfully. Sometimes it's a summary. But note that as you grow, you need to start moving from summary to what is called synthesis. A summary is a condensed version of the facts and data. In a synthesis, you go beyond summary to providing fresh insights from the facts. You articulate a logically insightful closing argument that delivers impact. It's a powerful tool in leadership communication. It answers the question, So what? It is the realm of interpretation that supports your reader or listener to make a decision. So, here we come to the end of the session. And let me recap the 6 building blocks for communicating for change. Number 1, context. Number 2, headline. Number 3, the audience. Number 4, the nexus. Number 5, gauge. And number 6, engage. Okay. Now listen, as I close. Effective leadership communication shapes decisions. It shapes policy directions. It shapes organizational or even market outcomes. Leaders drive change. A key tool for this to happen is communication. Follow these 6 steps and begin to make your voice, your written and verbal communication compelling and impactful. You will begin to see changes in your leadership outcomes. You can begin today to win by your words. Okay, so this is the end of the session today. I'd like to thank you again for joining us. I want to encourage you, if you're not yet following us on all our social media handles, please do so today. Follow us on our various platforms. You can also visit our website, www.joshualeadership.org. Let me invite you to continue to comment, like, and share these videos, particularly if it is helping you. Thanks for joining us again today. This has been Leading Edge.